Dipankar restored a few of my questions.
I'm so sorry, I did.
No issue. So, simply I finished your book reading last night at like 1, and it was hauntingly beautiful, and thank you for giving that experience. It was beautiful, and thank you for writing. And so Dipankar has stolen my questions. I will just go into the moment and ask you one thing. It is said that no idea is given to someone who is not voiced it. So tell me, what was that journey that you think that the idea chose you, that it chose you, and this book is in flesh and blood today. So, what made you worth that idea?
Actually, the thing is that I have been Manisha for a very large part of my life because I have always, I don't know if it is a epidemic problem or if it was with me, but I always have the need to prove myself. So, the rankings, the awards, everything, the typical way of going the standard way, like, being successful at work, being successful at home, or whatever, trying to prove myself. So that was always there. And I think I, really resonated with what Harbin also said, because when you put all your mind into something, then it's supposed to flourish, and so it did for me as well. I mean, frankly, things were all quite pink on the surface. But at the same time, of course, there was bound to be a lot of suppression, and we are all subject to emotional suppression, denials. Somewhere, this side of me that I can at all write, I had no clue about it. But I'm sure that it was suppressed somewhere inside and it was paining there. And I mean, the way things turned out and the way things happened for me, I mean, adversity is bliss used to be just a quotation for me for a very long time. I mean, Shakespeare said that, so sweet are the fruits of adversity. So I would quote it at the beginning of essays and forget all about it. But this is exactly how it happened with me. And I believe that when I fell ill and physiologically as well as depression, etc. When I started to read about it, and again I am very knowledge thirsty, so everything happens like a doctor prescribes something, I go back and Google and open 5 sites and read up about the medicine. So when I started to read about it, I really began to experience and also appreciate the power of the mind and how much everything really is about the mind. And so little do we do about it. And, the very fact that we experience, I mean, I'm seeing the same thing. There's a tomato in front of me and I'm allergic to it and you might be liking it. So it's the entire experience, our entire life, entire emotion, structure, the mental thing. Elixir began there, that what if I can, at this point, evoke something in my mind that makes me happy. I mean, to quote something from the God of Small Things, Arundhati Roy's, she says that if you're happy in a dream, does that count? I mean, why not? If I'm happy, so I be. And that is the seed of the thought that began, and it then culminated into this journey. But what if the reality clashes with your dream? And who says which is reality? If, say for example, we often talk about death as being the eternal sleep. And if death is an eternal sleep, then we are just moving from one sleeping episode to another. So the fact that I am Paromita sitting in front of you right now at 6:35, whatever, I mean, maybe this is a dream. And as much as we wake up in our, I don't know if there's reincarnations, next life, I'm a big atheist, but still, if there was, I mean, who knows that very well we'll forget all about today's moment when we wake up from the sleep the next time. And this kept on, bothering me a lot. Really, what are we doing? What are we thinking? Where are we going? And it then took shape in form of Elixir. Elixir gave me the scope of venting out a lot of thoughts that were bothering me in my mind for a very long time.
Somehow do you think that this book was your own awakening at the end of the day?
Yes, of course. This is my first book. I have not become as pro as a writer as to say that I can manufacture emotions. So whatever Elixir contains in terms of the emotional journey, it took all of me from inside to be able to manufacture that. I could not really, write without feeling that. So yes, I have taken the journey of Elixir while writing it myself.
So, and your book has beautiful, beautiful images. They are so beautiful, you can taste it in your tongue and you can bite them, they are as beautiful. So can I request you to read something out of the book?
Sure. I'll maybe read one small paragraph from the first chapter, yes. So I'll just read a very small portion, 1.5 paragraphs from chapter 1.
Here, it's more like a poetry in motion. You can really eat the words when she was written.
Okay. You have set the bars very high for me, Paramita. Excuse me. When rain hits the earth, it brings a few pieces of the sky down with itself. Have you ever seen it? Yes! So have I, darling. The pictures shift as you do. The tall towers, the TV antenna, the row of pigeons on electric wires. And far beyond, if you look, the endless blue of the horizon. These solitary reflections, they last throughout the dark nights. And then on the morrow, when the sun comes calling, they go back. They go back to make the sky one whole again. But wait, can the sky ever be whole with such void written all over itself? So I really wanted to ask if, we keep complaining about void. But, void is as much a part of things as busyness is. There is no point getting ourselves busy and avoiding that void in ourselves. And I really wanted to ask that can the sky be whole with so much of void written all over itself? And we contemplate and we think the sky is so fulfilling, it's a beautiful part of nature, etc. So these things kept paining inside me until they found their expression in words.
And as you talked about the rain now, and rain and water is almost like a character in the book. You can actually talk to the rain. So why have you used that metaphor so strongly in your book?
Okay. Well, yes, I think the protagonist, if it was not Manisha, the protagonist could have been water for Elixir. Because first Elixir, there's a glass of water that the girl drinks and it takes off from there. I really wanted to play with the miniatures and then the manifestation of those miniatures in the big world. So there is these small pebbles on the table, which takes the form of seashores and the sand, etc. There's a sand clock and time. So I have related the sea and the nature with the cycle of time. And especially with water, I was very fortunate that one of my earliest readers, Katarzyna, she's a Polish literary scholar. So she happened to read Elixir and she wrote me a very nice review. And she said this, that water, the same water that gives life, can drown. And the way she engineers played with water in Elixir. In Elixir, the journey Manisha takes, at one point she is resisting the flow and she tries to picture it in her mind that there is this stream and she's standing there and she's against the flow and it's hitting and it's paining her. From there, as she steps into the dream and as she comes closer to herself, she first gets ankle deep. She then braves it and takes one more step further into it. And then the water is up her waist. And then she feels the cool water over herself. And by the end of it, when the water sweeps over herself, who says that giving life is a good quality of water and water drowning you is a bad? Who says life is good, death is bad, etc.? Because it's all a part of the bigger nature. It's a universal play and we are just small minuscules observing it. So I wanted to read in water is one such thing which connects everything. There is this one poetry I had written which is very different from Elixir, where I said that, the evaporation, there is so much of heat, the water evaporates, but one day it will come down and rain and it will fall on you. So so somehow I feel that water plays a huge role in the nature cycle, and we as human beings are only part of nature. We often say that we humans and their nature, ecological balance. But hum hi hai nature, jaise, in Rockstar, I love that line, hum hi hai nature. We are a part of nature as much as water is, and it's such a cycle, it's such a bonding. I wanted to explore that bit.
And now that you have said about truth is something you seem to question in your book. Where the lines between truth and what is real and unreal, dream and awakeness, the lines just blur. You don't know whether you're sitting on a cloud and the cloud is above you. So I would want you to read that line where Manisha meets the psychiatrist so that we can take reflection.
Sure, sure.
It's a beautiful line, isn't it?
Thank you. Okay, so there's this next little bit that I'll read. So at this point, this is quite advanced in my novel. At this point, Manisha has been taken to a psychotherapist where she has been asked to validate her two existences. So I'll begin to read. Dr. Subramaniam sits up straight on his chair, frowning, poring over his notepad, devising his next question carefully. I see, Mrs. Roy. Now, could you tell me more about this experience? He looks up at her in a piercing way. It is not just an experience, doctor. It is my life. It exists. Manisha smiles, leaning back on the chair. I exist in it every day. I live it. I eat, I sleep, I make love, I work. It is like a second layer of existence, a dual parallel world. I have a life there, a lifetime. Only you cannot see it. Really? Yes. You know, doctor, for a very long time, I thought I'll have to live my life the way it has been handed out to me. I was broken beyond repair. And then, look, I'm so fixed. Look, Mrs. Roy, Dr. Subramaniam shifts in his chair. Of course, you are an intelligent woman. You are bright, smart,